You've got one night to save Mario from the supernatural.
The GameCube is a console. It's home to many iconic games such as Luigi's Mansion, Super Smash Bros. Melee, Dark Souls Prepare to Die Edition, and Sonic Heroes. That last game is today's top. Sonic Heroes is one of the most mixed Sonic games of all time. I enjoy this game, so do many others, but there's also a lot of people that despise this game. I am part of both groups. Sonic Heroes issues come from many aspects, and one of those aspects is its horrendous development, but also other ones such as its level design and gameplay. Gameplay is mostly the same as the Sonic Adventure games, but it's also just weird and jank. It's hard to explain. Another reason why the level design is kind of bad because it was mostly made by one dude. Yeah, there was another designer, but he ended up becoming ill, and so it was up to Takashi Iizuka to save the Sonic Heroes. Sonic Heroes was developed by 19 people, which is not a good sign. But anyway, development was also led by Yuji Naka, which in fact is also kind of a bad sign, but it gets worse. The development only lasted for 20 months, which is 4 months away from 2 years. And 2 years isn't bad, but the game really should have been at least developed for 4 years, and considering how the game ended up in the final product, they really should have worked on this game for a bit longer. But anyway, let me get back to the topic at hand. Takashi Iizuka was the lead designer of Sonic Heroes. He went on to design various aspects of the game, especially the levels. He wanted the game to feel more like the original 2D Sonic games, such as Sonic 3 and Sonic 2. He also wanted the game to be more casual for new fans of the series. Though unfortunately, one of the designers for Sonic Heroes became ill, which is something I mentioned earlier. This would also end up making the development for the game very, very troublesome, especially for Iizuka. Sega management ended up making the development even worse due to deadlines. This ended up stressing out Iizuka a lot, and apparently he even suffered from insomnia, and even losing 22 pounds, which is crazy. And Iizuka even went on to say that Sonic Heroes development was the most stressful time of his career. I don't know if I should, but I'm blaming Yuji Naka for this. Also, I thought I should mention this. Yuji Naka is actually a criminal. He was sent to jail for inside trading for his Square Enix endeavor. Yeah. He was also known for making development worse for other games, such as Sonic Extreme, which was cancelled, but that was due to other reasons other than Yuji Naka. He was also mad at the devs of the game for wanting to use the Nights into Dreams engine, and he threatened the higher ups at Sega, like telling them he would quit the company because he didn't want the devs of Sonic Extreme to use the engine. I don't know why he did that, what is wrong with him. But anyway, we get back to the topic at hand. Now, as you would know, I'm using Wikipedia for the development history of this game, but I'm pretty sure there's a more in-depth history out there somewhere. But anyway, now you know the rough development history of Sonic Heroes. Now, let me get into the next topic of the video. So if you ever played Sonic Adventure 1 and 2, then you basically know how this game plays. But unlike Sonic Adventure 1 and 2, this game has teams. Instead of separate characters, we got Team Sonic, Team Dark, Team Rose, Team Chaotix, and also each team got 3 types of characters: Speed, Flight, and Power. Speed characters are, well, fast, obviously, and they can use homing attacks like Sonic, and they can use special attacks that deal with whirlwinds. Though I think Sonic and Shadow, the only ones with a light speed dash, because I tried using it as other characters like Amy and Espio, and it just doesn't work. And Flight characters can fly and hold other team members and throw them. Rouge is a special case because she can throw fake rings. Power characters can break through walls and destroy objects. Well, I'm pretty sure other characters can destroy objects, but for some reason it didn't work for me. Maybe my game was just broken or something. And they could also glide. When it comes to certain gameplay mechanics, this game is kind of like a classic Sonic game. It's got these special stages that are akin to Sonic 2 special stages, which suck. And kind of like Sonic 3, you gotta collect the Chaos Emeralds to unlock the final story, where you get to fight the true final boss of the game. Well, that doesn't happen in Sonic 3, but you gotta collect the Chaos Emeralds to unlock an extra final boss. But anyway, to unlock the special stages, you need to grab a key, but if you take damage, you'll lose the key, and then you have to restart the stage. This game also has a level up system, because why not, I guess. But to level up, you have to beat up people and collect their orbs. And then with each orb, you can level up 3 times. But if you die, you will lose your levels.
Oh, so it's like Dark Souls.
No, it's not. Shut up.
Now to put these teams on a suckage scale. Team Sonic sucks the least. Team Rose is very easy. Team Dark is hard mode. Team Chaotix is evil. Mostly because of the mission-based levels, which I'll talk about in a bit. So Team Sonic's story starts with the main basis of the plot, aka it's very similar to the Hotel Mario. And I'm not even joking. The plot line is very similar. It's Sonic Hero, Sonic and Co. get a letter from Bowser, Eggman. And he tells them he's gonna launch his egg fleet and take over the world. And dares them to challenge him. And in Hotel Mario, Mario and Luigi get a letter from Bowser. And he tells the pesky plumbers that he kidnapped Princess Peach and dares them to find her. Kind of funny how similar these plot lines are. Anyway, every team got their own story in this game. Team Dark story starts out with Rouge raiding an Eggman base and finding Shadow. Omega is also there because he thinks Shadow is a robot, which he's not, obviously. Also, Shadow has amnesia. Apparently, that's because of the events of Sonic Adventure 2. Even though I think he was dead in that game, at least it was presumed. Well, I mean, at the end of the game, obviously. Team Rose basically doesn't have a story besides Amy looking for Sonic and Cream looking for another child that I forgot the name of, and Big the Cat's looking for Froggy. That's it. Literally nothing else. Team Chaotix's story starts with them getting a new client. Spoiler alert, he's Eggman. You can kind of tell from the voice, it's just like a high-pitched version of Eggman's voice. Anyway, you learn that at the end of the story, but Vector kind of hints at it a few times in the game. Well, all these stories, you basically get the same cutscene, except for the intro and the finale. One cutscene that always appears is the cutscene at the end of the Rail Canyon stages, where Sonic and the other characters find out that the Eggman they've been fighting is a fake. Then Metal Sonic appears at the end of these cutscenes. For some reason, it took me so long just to get this part of the script correct. I don't know why. I don't know why I struggled so hard to get it right. Anyway, now Team Sonic is honestly one of the easier stories in the game, because most of the other ones kind of suck and have a lot of random garbage that'll screw you over. And it'll screw over your good run or make a bad one even worse. Except for Team Rose, because that's basically a glorified easy mode. Though unfortunately, Team Sonic suffers from a lot of these issues. Even though it's not as bad as some of the other stories, it's just unfortunate that the issues are still there. What can I say? This game was made by 19 people in 2 years. And only one level designer. Well, kind. Anyway, Team Chaotix is probably the worst, especially with its mission-based stages. Basically, all of them have the same stupid layout, but they all have horrendously designed missions slapped on top of them. There's one in particular that I'll get to later. It'd probably take way too long to talk about all the stages, well, all the separate ones for each story. So I'm just not going to do that. Instead, I'm just going to talk about the Team Sonic stages because, like I explained earlier, basically all the teams have the same stages. So, this game does not really have that many levels. It's only got 14, which is quite small, but considering the development of this game, yeah, I can get why. Each team has the same levels, but the layout of the levels in each team's story is somewhat different, but not by much. And I'm gonna be real with y'all, most of these levels kind of suck, but you know, in a kind of endearing way, you know? Like, yeah, the level design is kind of bad, but they all got this vibe to them that no other game has. Or it's just that PS2 GameCube nostalgia, whatever. Anyway, now I'm going to express my opinions on all these levels, starting with Seaside Hill / Ocean Palace. Honestly, these are the best levels in the game. Such fun layouts and great music. It really feels like they designed these levels first, which they probably did. Grand Metropolis. I don't mind Grand Metropolis. I actually kind of like it. It's a pretty good level, and it's got some enjoyable sections, and being too fast in this level doesn't automatically result in death. Unlike the next level, Power Plant. Good golly, I hate this level. It just drags on for way too long and has these elevator sections that feel like they artificially increase the padding of the level. And also, there are so many repeated elements in this level. More than the last one, which is quite odd. considering the fact that the last stage was actually quite fun. But the final part of this level is probably the worst part. It is a section where the lava or energy or whatever the fudge it is, it starts rising up and you gotta get to the top. This section wouldn't be so bad if, you know, the controls for this game actually work. Besides that, this level only took me 9 minutes and 24 seconds to beat. Jeez Louise, that is a long level.
Casino pot.
I wonder what Sonic Team was thinking when they worked on this stage.
Yeah, it would be so freaking cool if we turned Sonic Spinball into a level in Sonic Heroes.
Honestly, a pinball-based level does not sound like a bad idea, but this level feels like a poorly executed idea, and it drags on for way too long. Or maybe I just suck at this game, which unfortunately seems to be true. But anyway, it took me 6 minutes to beat this level, which is quite sad, but I'm bad at pinball, so on to the next level.
Bingo Highway.
Good golly almighty, I hate this level with every fiber of my being. This level is worse than both Casino Park and Power Plant combined. I hate Bingo, and I hate this piece of garbage of a level. Besides my genuine hatred for this stage, there is something worse. Just like what Qui-Gon Jinn said in Star Wars.
There's always a bigger fish.
Rail Canyon. Not a bad level. Definitely has some iffy moments, but regardless, kind of a fun level. I actually enjoyed it. Bullet Station. Not as good as Rail Canyon, but it kind of overstays its welcome. And it has some, you know, pretty glaring issues, but definitely not as bad as Bingo Highway or Power Plant Frog Forest. This level is not as good as the last two levels, but really isn't all that fun either. I do think the frog mechanic is quite interesting, but I feel like it could have been implemented better. Lost Jungle. This level sucks, man. It's just not fun. It takes forever to complete, and there's just a lot of stuff in this level that can screw you over, especially the part where Sonic has to use the light speed dash. Because for some reason, at least for me, it didn't work most of the time I used it, so I kept dying. I had to jump for it to actually work. Hang Castle / Mystic Mansion. I don't really have much to say about these levels. I love the Halloween aesthetic, I can't lie. And I really like the mechanic that involves flipping the level upside down or right side up. It's very fun. The only problem I have with both of these levels is how long they are. Egg Fleet. Not that bad, actually a pretty fun stage, but the level does drag on for quite a bit, which seems to be a common theme among basically every level in this dang game. But the next level, however, yeah, it's about as long as Bingo Highway, which is quite unfortunate.
Final Fortress.
This level kinda sucks. Not as bad as Bingo Highway, but it's up there. Most of it is either poorly designed or just full of grinding. It does give off the vibes of a final level though, especially with how much garbage it throws at you, especially nearing the end. It took me 12 minutes to beat this stupid level. My overall opinion on these stages is that a lot of them have issues, but like only 3 of them are actually bad. And those 3 are Bingo Highway, Lost Jungle, and Final Fortress. Those are the only levels I think are bad in this game, actually. Because most of the other ones, you know, they're not that bad, but some of them, you know, they kind of suck, but they're not actually bad, you know? I was reluctant to talk about this, but it seems that I must. I kind of lied earlier. The stage that I hate the most is actually Mystic Mansion. Not the Team Sonic version, or the Rose, or the Dark version, but the Chaotix version. I bring you the... Oh dear. 60 torches. Remember what I said about Bingo Highway?
That was mere foreshadowing.
My hatred for Bingo Highway was real, but hate cannot describe what I feel for this stage. There is nothing worse than this level. And when I first played this game, it took me 30 minutes to beat this level. But when I was getting footage for this level, it took me 22 minutes. Which is an improvement, yes, but still. This is probably the most poorly designed stage in the game. The torches are in obvious places, but somehow despite that, you will still miss a torch. How the fudge does that happen? I was searching for so long for that last torch, at least when I first played the game, however. And then even after completing this stage, I was mad because the torch was in such an obvious place. But besides that, I was mad that the stage even existed. What were you thinking, Sonic Team? I'm gonna be real. All the bosses in this game kinda suck. Like, for real, they actually kinda stink. But are they bad though? Well, there is, and there's two. I'll get to that later. Egg Hawk. The literal easiest boss in the game. Just hit him with the homing attack like, I don't know, 80 times or even less than that, and he's dead. Team battles. All of these bosses are extremely easy, man. I am not going to talk about all of them because they are literally the same boss. You just fight them as different characters. I didn't even get footage for all the different characters because I don't care. These bosses are literally so easy. Robot Carnival. Yeah, this boss stinks. It's not a bad boss by any means, but I just don't like wave bosses, and this boss really does not do anything unique either. Oh, by the way, there is another one that is way worse than this one, but I'll get to that later. Egg Albatross. This boss is just a harder version of the Egg Hawk. The same tactic can be used here, but be aware, you might actually take damage this time. But the second phase of this boss is just the Egg Hawk, literally the same exact version. So all you have to do is just use the same tactic from earlier. Just homing attack and you'll probably win. Robot Storm. This is probably the worst boss in the game. Okay, no, it's one of the worst bosses in the game. Remember what I said earlier about how there's two bad bosses? The next boss is actually the worst boss, but I'll get to that in a second. But my gosh, this boss is bad. It's just another wave battle, but it's even worse this time because it's even longer and has even stupider enemies. What were they thinking? Egg Emperor. Now this is the worst boss in the game. This boss is just full of a lot of garbage, dude. Especially that dang charge attack. I hate that attack so much because, dude, that attack is the reason why I died like 100 times on this boss. I have a tactic that seems to have worked for this boss. Just get Tails to level 3 and then just spam Thunder Shoot. That tactic just works.
It just works.
So it is revealed that Eggman actually isn't the main villain. It's actually Metal Sonic. And Metal Sonic transforms into this weird dragon-like robot, which actually has a radical design, not even gonna lie. And so if you do get the Chaos Emeralds, which I did, Sonic & Co. becomes super. But before that happens, the other teams have to stall Metal Sonic, who has now become Metal Madness. Metal Madness. I've been sounding a bit too negative in this video, so let me change the pace a little bit. This boss has a cool design. Oh wait, I said that earlier. Well, I'm sorry, but this boss kinda sucks. But mostly because I suck, okay? I will not elaborate. But just so you know, you might have a better time than I did. Though the Team Dark part of this boss does suck. I'm not even gonna lie. Especially because the homing attack as Shadow for some reason will kill you, especially on the last hit. I don't even know how that happens. It just happened all the time when I was fighting the boss for some reason. Metal Overlord. The best part of the final boss is here, the Supersonic phase. Hot take, this boss is actually better than the Bio-Lizard from Sonic Adventure 2. Now, this boss, I kinda actually like this boss. Mostly because, like, when you know what to do, you know, like, you know how to, like, basically fill up the bar really fast, the Team Blast bar, because that's the only way you can do damage. And then you learn, like, you have to use Tails on the missiles, you have to use Knuckles on the boat. Well, it's not a boat, I'm pretty sure it's an airship. And then you use Supersonic on the ice attacks. You know, when you learn that tactic, it becomes actually kind of a fun boss battle. But when I first played this game, I didn't really like this boss, like, at all. But you know, now since I have more knowledge, this boss is actually kind of fun. Got some issues, you know, it's still not that good of a boss, but I had fun this time. GG. Welp, that's it. Metal Sonic claims that he is not owned and is perfectly calm right now, and also that he is the real Sonic, and then falls asleep. You know, the ending to this game is short and sweet. You know, it's nothing big or dramatic. It's just an ending, you know? Well, anyway, that's wraps for Sonic Heroes. Just like I said earlier, this game isn't bad. I actually found it pretty good at times. Even though it has its moments that made me want to despise the game. Looking at you, 60 torches. But besides that, it was still a pretty fun experience. But you know what they say, if a video game makes you angry in the best of times, then makes you happy during the worst of times, then that truly is a video game. That is one of LeBron James's famous quotes. But like I said earlier, I like this game. But you know, that's about it for me, dog. I'm out of here.